Now, the matchups here, we're going to see the Gauntlet side of things, looking for those hype team combos, those fast execution plays. And on the double Lance side, we're going to look for the pressure, the big weapon hitboxes, the movement around the map. The thing is, with Lance, when it comes to these Blasters matchups and the Gauntlet matchups, if you put your attack out in the wrong spot, it can be to your detriment. You can end up getting punished for a lot. There's the downlight there into the 3-piece like I was just talking about, a big punish to that Sire.
Now we are, of course, here on Enigma, which is going to have the most soft platforms in the game for any tournament legal map, coming in at a whopping 3. That was a nice spot dodge coming out from Sire. He didn't immediately go for the side air or the recovery after picking up the D-Light because one of the other red team members was immediately pushing onto him, and he could have gotten the hit.
Now, the game was pretty even just a couple seconds ago. Out of nowhere, the blue team, just with a huge momentum play off that GCD light into some team combos on the left side, take this lead here, and they're adding even more damage on top of tax evasion.
They've now fully wiped the red team a single time each. And continuing the follow-ups, you saw it on the right side. Sire was doing a great job. He ended up putting a little bit of team damage out, but it was a neutral air on his teammate who was already well deep into the red. So it's really not a problem whatsoever for him to do that because he also added up that damage onto the red team. But the red team did a great job of evening this one up quickly here. They're not too far behind whatsoever as Sire spawns back in and is searching for a weapon, unable to find it as tax evasion grabs the spear.
Yep, you can definitely tell that these guys were taken down by the same team as how close their games are personally together. The Gauntlets are going crazy on the right side, though, with the one read. He does get the GC sidelight into the sider. Doesn't quite KO yet, doesn't set up for the edge guard, but it is going to be some damage you're happy to have on tax evasion here.
Now, Sire was just over on the corner, but we didn't see the red team immediately put their focus onto Vortex, probably because they're worried about what Vortex was able to do in the 1v2 earlier. If they tunnel vision onto him, he could just run away using those soft platforms like we saw previously, or he could just straight up win that 1v2 like we've already seen him do as well. Neutral signature picking up both with that second swipe.
Charge recovery is going to interrupt the aggression there. Now, if things continue as they have been, the red team's going to lose their stock here, and the damage is looking like they're going to be the ones to end up on the bottom foot here, so they have to do something. Things can't continue as is. They have to change up. That's one move there. That's another one. The change is coming. You can see the blue team wiped clean again. Laz not taking too much damage with tax evasion, needs to play this one a bit more carefully.
Now, one thing we saw Tax do previously on maps that had soft platforms was extend his spear combos by canceling onto those soft platforms. Oh, he didn't get it that time, of course, because Sire was coming in there, hit the side air.
Downlight's going to connect. Well, Downlight's not going to connect. Laz doing a bit of 1v2ing here. As you can see, tax evasion trying to only come in when necessary, going for these downlights from a distance, trying to get combos for his teammate, but not trying to commit himself into the fight as he is very much damaged here. Laz doing a good job of playing around it, playing by himself. You can see the hits still coming through on the Lance, and the blue team are actually going towards him. They're trying to get this 2v1 on. They see that tax evasion is taking the defensive game. He finally goes in, gets downlight recovery. The stock is gone. Laz on his own here. Does he have the oomph to do what Vortex did before?
No, not anymore. Okay, the weapon toss. Even then, the Gauntlet neutral light didn't KO. 604 damage coming out from Sire there. Great follow-ups from this blue team. We did see some great turnarounds coming out from red, though, to pick up those KOs when they were really far behind.
Man, if I had $1 for every time someone has like down aired into a weapon throw trying to get back to the map, I'd have like $10.
That's, well, I don't know how far that's going to get you in this economy these days, Remy.
Man.
Oh, 0 axe damage coming out from Laz. That's surprising.
We've got a lot of cosplayers today, bro. What is Cosflix doing here?
I don't know. He's not allowed to play in this region. Someone check him, PC.
All right, we have the same map here, back on the tri-platforms. Something about it just felt right to these teams. No, neither of them decided to switch out. The Gauntlets, once again, doing extreme amounts of work here. The early combo game is going to add on a bit more damage. The Flash Knuckle is going to get him off to the right side. The edge guard can't be completed, though. Lance just has a really good, oh my.
Sire ends up falling. All of the chaos that happened on the right side, he just wasn't able to touch in time. He was moving over to the wall, ended up getting slightly hit away. Even though he had low damage on that stock, it sent him far enough away that he couldn't get back over to the wall. That's a heartbreaking first stock loss for Sire, who's doing such a fantastic job. The damage output from both of the blue team members were just amazing. But all of a sudden, this red team really waking up. They found that moment, were able to capitalize, Rise. That's a KO off the top, but Sire has taken over 100 damage in the meantime.
Now, Sire losing that stock gave them that time to make that power play onto Vortex, who took a lot of damage in that downtime. Ended up with Sire coming back and closing off those 2 stocks. But like you mentioned, he's heavily damaged here, but
That's
he
huge.
is not letting them stop him there. Another self-destruct at this point in
It's like the blue team is getting too confident in their own skills because they started that amazing. Probably the reason Vortex was still out there almost getting hit by that recovery was because he interrupted the recovery from tax evasion. So he didn't have that as an option to hit, which can hit on both sides. Also, of course, didn't have that as a recovery option to get back over to the wall, keep himself from falling. Even with those 2 SDs that were massive for the red team, Laz is very much deep in the red. Tax evasion's very much deep in the red. We could see this turning around.
I mean, the down state is going to get interrupted, but we see it once again. Enlight into the weapon toss is going to find that KO from Laz. They need to take him off the stock, and then they need to look for that power play onto tax evasion. They are only slightly behind. Even with 2 SDs, like you mentioned, they are in a position where they can bring this game back. But Laz, he refuses to lose that stock. The neutral airs are coming out the side light. Doesn't find the neutral air follow-up after, and you can see they're zoning him away and putting that pressure onto tax evasion here. Sire just running past him, goes for the downside, doesn't find it.
No follow-up there from tax evasion. He tried to go for the side air, but it didn't make a connection, okay? Oh, that is going to take off the top. Charged it just a little bit to get through the spot dodge from Sire after picking up the side light neutral air.
That's going to be, bit inspirational for the combo.
Still not going to get it. Still living in this one. But he's not going to find the 1v2 that he found so successfully in previous sets. And off the back of some solid play towards the end, and of course 2 SDs from the blue team, we're going into game 3, a tied set, Remy.
1-1. I mean, as blue team there, you've got to feel something, because look at how close you got it, and off the back of 2 SDs. One very late into the game on a very fresh, well, they were both on fresh stocks, but one just kind of out of nowhere, deep into the game. Like, you messed up at the start. You're like, okay, fine, we messed up. Let's keep the ball moving. Let's see what we can keep doing. And then it's like, wait, we can't move this ball. We were carrying all these rocks to the top of the mountain.
So,
and Laz's graph, by the way.
Yeah, look at that. Just survived so long on that, not final stock, but second stock. Probably 60% of the game on that second stock.
We do finally have a legend switch up here. Vortex is going to move on to that Bryn pick. We're seeing one of the gauntlets drop. Now, I don't know, because the Val pick, the Michelangelo, was doing a lot of work. It was actually heavy sword play and the gauntlet follow-ups that were getting them a lot of the leads they had and keeping them in that game from behind. If you did an SD, you have a completely different game here, but he says, I want a completely different game anyway, and he switches up the legend.
Yeah, if we're looking at the damage split, well, I mean, it's tough because last game they didn't do a lot of damage because they weren't allowed to do a lot of damage because they SD'd 2 of their stocks. But yeah, exactly like you said, like aside from all of that, I was really liking that Val pick, but maybe they just want a little bit more utility coming from the spear, a little bit more range to deal with some of these lances coming out. Maybe they just want a more standard game.
Right. Well, the game is as standard as we're going to get. It's staying relatively even once again. Sire taking the brunt of the, I mean, not taking the brunt of the damage here. The Vortex is taking the brunt of the damage for the blue team here. Sire kind of laxed on the orange as everyone enters the red. The side air on the axe is going to KO, and the blaster is going to get the next KO. Bit of team damage there at the end, but Sire is going to be fine with it. He actually tags him back as soon as he gets a little footing on the map. It is going to lead to him getting KO'd on the left side by Laz there, and the red team trying to even up the stocks before Vortex makes it back, and they're not getting a chance.
Ooh, getting caught in the chainsaw from Laz. Didn't even need to charge that one whatsoever. Gets the KO, and we have a pretty even game, though both Laz and Tax Evasion are very much in the yellow. Probably about 70 damage on this stock. Now, Tax, I believe, is in the orange. Nice 2-piece. Doesn't find the neutral air from Laz follow-up because Sire still had the dodge after that sidelight neutral air from Laz's lance.
Now Vortex with the downlights, he's moving around this map extremely well. We're seeing a lot of axe hits pick up the side airs, the downlights on the ground. It feels like he's doing so much work. That's not going to lead into a recovery, but it doesn't matter because he's right there to get the KO on the right, switch immediately to the left for the follow-up.
Tax is able to get back onto the main platform. You see him immediately head over to his teammate. Both of them were unarmed, but now Laz has an axe in his hand. Vortex also unarmed, looking for the neutral air pickup.
Beautiful Sire, and instantly gets the end light on the turnaround.
Goes right into that neutral signature from Tax, who gets the KO off the top. Blue team definitely in the lead here because Sire has taken so little damage on this stock as he continues to add it up onto Laz's last.
These blaster down airs
his blaster stairs are so good. He controls so much space.
Connection after connection. That one's going to lead to a KO off the bottom, and that puts the red team both on their last stocks. Laz taking a lot of damage on his.
Laz stuck over on the wall. Tax trying to make his way in, but he ends up getting zoned away just a little bit. Laz still has been stuck so long on that left side of the stage.
Now Laz just took 3 hits of team damage there. Not too detrimental as he is deep into that red already. The next hit from the blue team probably will just KO.
So we haven't seen Sire's ability to 1v2 just yet as Vortex gets sent very close to the blast zone. Tax coming in, the unarmed recovery missing because of the dodge. Vortex, nice down here, another one, there it is. Get it.
And it will be a 2v1, just not for the red team.
Now, before we saw Tax throw a lot of those down signatures out, and almost none of them were making contact.
Wow.
Ooh, sending up just a little bit and not far enough left for that side signature from Vortex to hit. Vortex taken out. Sire has 2 stocks here.
I mean, now if we see Sire lose this, you have to just say it's patch notes diff.
I don't know, man. Sire was 2nd place last week at the Winter Championship. Did get bodied by Himwe, don't get me wrong, but of course made it to 2nd place. You saw him trying to chase across the stage to pick up that recovery, catch Tax floating, and that is going to be that. That is it for that game. We are now going to be moving on into Game 4. It is 2-1 after Sire takes that 1v1 at the end.
Vortex just forgetting at the end there that the Gauntlet Neutralite is going to send a bit more vertically instead of horizontally, and does go for the side stick, doesn't make it that far. The force is reduced as well, so you got to kind of mix up your combo game. Now you do have that spear, so you do have that anti-air option to go for the downlight into the side, or maybe line it up for Lux and Sig, get that confirmed KO.
Now what a difference maker when the blue team doesn't SD 2 of their stocks.
It's definitely a different game. We're also in another different game, same map, same characters. You may be confused, but trust me, it's Game 4 we have on our hands here. The blue team getting the first set of weapons, and it's going to leave taxiivation looking for this land that he finally gets.
Vortex putting some punishment onto Laz. Already has him in the yellow. Just goes for the simple D-Light Cider because he knew Laz had a dodge. That has him orange. Vortex is just straight up winning the 1v1 against Laz.
Double. Once again, man. Once again.
Same thing. Same thing, same result. He's got to be looking for those neutral sigs more often.
Yep, neutral sigs, GC side sigs, reverse. A lot of options there, but the one you can't take is the one on the ground no longer.
That's going to be a very quick first stock loss. About 40 seconds into this game, Laz is going to fall. And Laz was one of the players, it wasn't that long ago, Remy, that we were talking about. Laz was the stock tank. He was the damage tank. D-Sig going to take Tax out as well. Vortex and Sire still in the orange. Have a short moment for the 2v1. Going to be chasing Laz very high into the sky. They were able to put out about 2, maybe 3 hits onto him before Tax came in, relieve some of that pressure. That dash D-Sig is not going to be the move there. Sire, of course, picking up yet another down air.
Now Vortex heavily damaged. You can see him kind of getting juggled by the axe combo. The Endlight's going to keep Sire away for a bit longer. So Vortex on his way to help his teammate actually gets hit by the spear side air. It's going to be the first stock loss for the blue team. Sire still opting to hold his for a little bit longer, trying to play this wall game with the blasters. You know, when blasters are off stage like that, it's very hard to get onto them. The side air just zones you away. The neutral air is keeping you at bay. The neutral air from unarmed on Sire on the top right of the map is going to KO Laz. And we were talking about the stock tanks, but now there's none on the red team as they both fall to their last.
Now we're seeing why Vortex swapped over to not necessarily this legend, as we've seen the signature usage definitely hit or miss, but mostly miss. But the spear, especially from Vortex, doing so much work this game. He opened this one up with the pure 1v1 against Laz. See what they got prepared for us. Let him cook. Maybe took that chicken out while it's medium rare. Some people like it that way. I'm not one of them.
I just thought they burned it. That was an interesting combo at the end there with the N-Sig. Maybe they had something. Maybe he thought if the N-Sig connects, they turn around and get the Lance recovery. I don't know. I don't play either of these weapons, so I'm going to let them have that idea in their head for what the combo was going to be.
Tax has got to be careful. He was searching for the weapon spawns. He was able to pick up that lance. A little bit surprised it didn't despawn in time, but he has to be so careful that it doesn't take too much damage. He was on the edge over against Sire, who's looking for the recoveries. The jump down airs, of course.
And
neutral Sig. That's going to send a 45-degree angle. Going to need quite a bit more damage. Sire doesn't fall for the second one, though.
Actually ends up getting the punish on taxiivation there. Another downer is going to tack on a bit more damage, and you can only imagine the next side or the next heavy hit is going to lead to that KO. Onto him, the recovery, like we were talking about, just sends him off the top there. Laz gets 1v2. He gets it right this time, and it's going to get him a seat in Grand Finals.
Third time is the charm from Vortex. Finally picks up that neutral signature. Also picked up 651 damage. I gotta look at the weapon breakdown from the live stats. If you want to put your eyes on the live stats, you can find it in Odin's Journal on the left side of Twitch. If you're not on Twitch, make sure to go to prostats.brawlhalla.com. That's probably it. We'll probably get there somehow. Let's look at this damage breakdown. Remy, 577 on that spear.
He's him.
Oh, I'm so glad he picked up that neutral signature. I'm so glad he picked it up to win the game as well.
It's a learning experience. Now he goes into his 30 damage on the axe, by the way. I just didn't know that was even possible. He's going to go into the next game with that knowledge that he has learned put in his head. And I'm hoping he's going to give us a good show here. Because
now,
it was a 3-1 for that loss, right? It was a 3-1 before
yes.
On that loss, sending them into the loser's bracket. Competition, guys. We want that game 5. We might even want that reset if the games look good.
Oh, there's potential for it coming out with this Bryn pick. Now, we don't know because, unfortunately, you cannot report characters in 2v2 for Start.gg. Start.gg, if you are listening, Microsoft, Billy Gates.
Get on it.
Come on, get it in
Get
there
on
for
it.
us. We need it. He can't.